I'm joining you today from Portland, Oregon, from my friend's beautiful gardens. I'm at the Turney household. They're my friends. In fact, they're friends' friends. Do you know what I mean? You know how something's so important you kind of name it twice? I mean, why do we do that? You know, like you've got your friends on Facebook that you may have bumped into a few times. You might have seen them here and there. These are not those kinds of friends. These are those kind of friends, you know, when the chips are down, when your girlfriend dumps you, when business is failing, when you're really struggling, that they're always there for you. I hope you've got friends like that. So I've got a big shout out today to the Turney family, my friends' friends here in Portland, Oregon, the United States. It's their beautiful garden. And what I wanted to do today was just spend a few minutes with you, because in my last video, I talked about some principles around goal setting, around how it's important to set goals that are based around, first of all, your personal strengths. I mean, what are you good at? And secondly, setting goals around your values. In other words, the things that you believe are important to you in your life. I then said, once you've set your goals, obviously you've got to go out there and take action, and that oftentimes you're off course, but you've got to be persistent and flexible in your approach. If you keep doing that, eventually you get to where you want to be. I got some really good questions come from people after that first video in this little series here, and one of the big questions that kept reoccurring that I wanted to deal with in this video here was people saying, look, Kev, you said we've got to set goals around our personal strengths, but I don't know what I'm good at. How do I figure out what my strengths are? So that's what this video is about right here today. You see, I got lucky. If I'm being honest with you, I got really lucky. Because when I was younger, my strengths were around what the local community culture valued. In other words, I was good at football, good at soccer. And because I happened to be lucky enough to be naturally good at something that was very common and very popular, it was easy for me to discover my strengths. And I guess if you go to school and you're kind of academically minded and you're good at those traditional subjects like English, mathematics, science, then you'll be able to come out the other end of the education system, pop out the other end and feel good about yourself because you were able to succeed in those subjects, those tests and those exams. But not everybody's good at maths, English, science, or even football. So how do you discover your strengths? Now, I think there are three ways. There are many ways, but there are three main ways that you can discover your strengths. First of all, is through observation. What I used to do when I was a teenager was I used to go to work with my dad. And because I went to work with my dad, I got to see how different departments in a company would work. And by going in there, I'd look at the sales department, I'd see the accounts department, I'd see the HR department, I'd see all these different departments, seeing how they worked. So I'd go, you know what, I could never work in that department because I'd be bored to death. Actually, that department, that looked kind of interesting. And so by observing other people, you can very quickly discover your strengths. The problem is that you really only know that you like something when you do it. So observation can be useful, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's very limiting. The second way that you can discover your strengths is what I call through testing. There's all kinds of tests now. I don't mean exams, tests, SATs, GCSEs, A-levels. I don't mean that. I mean that you can do what's called psychometric testing. So you can go online and there's things like the Myers-Briggs test. I hope you're taking some notes here. You could do a Myers-Briggs test and find out what your personality kind of leans itself towards and what kind of careers are good for that kind of personality and those kind of character traits. You could do something called StrengthsFinder. You go to strengthsfinder.com and they've got a great little test that I think they've got something like 48 or 52 different strengths that are natural inherent strengths that are like built into your DNA, that you're born with these strengths. And you go through a series of questions online and it spits out at the end what your top strengths are and then can guide you towards careers, jobs and other things that you might do in your life that would make the best and embrace those strengths that you've got. There's in NLP, in neuro-linguistic programming, there's something called meta programs, and you can do those tests. There's a gentleman called Howard Gardner who was a professor, may still be, at Harvard University here in the United States. And he created a theory called the 8 multiple intelligences. Now, if all you do is go to Google or Yahoo, the search engines are available, and you put into one of those search engines, multiple intelligences test, you get all kinds of free tests that you can take to figure out what your natural strengths are. And then pops out, depending on which one of those free tests you might take, they'll recommend what kind of jobs and careers and other activities might suit somebody that has that kind of natural inherent intelligence. So I suggest, first of all, you do lots of observation. By all means, go and observe your parents at work, friends, family, neighbours, and so forth. I strongly recommend you do some testing, whether they be online, paper-based tests, wherever you can find them, just so you can profile yourself and discover what your strengths are. Thirdly, and I saved the best and the most important till last, because well, in truth, the only way to know not only whether you're just naturally suited to it, whether your psychology and your physiology aligns with it, but the only way to really know whether you enjoy something, and that's a critical factor, that you're not just good at it, but you enjoy it. The only way to know that is to do it. In other words, number three, third category, is participation. And you've got to join in. And I remember going back to my teenage years when I just did as much stuff as I possibly could. You know, I did the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, I did some orienteering, I did abseiling, kayaking, canoeing, I went swimming, I played for a cricket team, obviously I played football, I got involved in the athletics team at school. You name it, I just got involved. I did some voluntary work in the community. I started coaching football, not just playing football, when I was still a teenager. I just started doing stuff. It's impossible to know whether you like something without trying it first. You can't just sit on the outside and judge it. Like, I bought this t-shirt yesterday, right? And I saw it, and I thought, I quite like that. Quite like it. But the only way I could know whether it really suited me was if I tried it on. And of course I tried it on, got the wrong size. And then I was like, oh, there's a different colour as well. Let me try that one on. It's only by trying different things on that you really find what you really like, the feel of, and what you're going to enjoy. So I really hope that at the end of this video, you're going to start getting creative and going, well, what can I do? And people are saying to me all the time, oh, wait, you know, Kev, but where I live, there's nothing to do. It's boring. Are you kidding me? Seriously, are you kidding me? There's more to do than there is enough time to fit it in. Here's the problem. Most people are lacking what I call the 2 C's. And if you're going to discover your strengths, you need your 2 C's. And whether you're going to do that through observation, whether you're going to do it through testing, or whether you're going to do it through participation, you've got to have the 2 C's. And the first of the 2 C's is you've got to get curious. You see, if you're just stuck in your old patterns of hanging out with the same people in the same places, sat on the same furniture, watching the same TV shows, playing the same computer games, you're never going to discover what's really out there in this world. You've got to get curious. You've got to start thinking, well, what is down there? What is in there? What can I do around there? Where could I go? If it's not in my community, what's in the next neighbourhood? What's in the next village? What's on the other side of town? Where can I get a bus, a train, a tram? Where can I walk, ride? How can I get participating? You've got to get curious. And then once you're curious, you need the second C. And that's courage. Because the truth is that there's so much stuff out there today. I mean, my parents, I could understand if when they were growing up, they said to me, oh, it's boring, there's nothing to do around here. But today, there's so much stuff to do. But you've got to have the courage to get off your sofa, get out your bedroom, and actually go and join in and participate, and not worry about what other people think. Just because your other mates aren't going. Like, one of the things I did was I joined the Scouts, the Boy Scouts. And people go, did you join the Boy Scouts? What kind of a nerd or geek are you? But you know what? It was a group of lads that would get together. We went camping. We went doing all these different activities. Building fires, learned how to cook, learned how to bake, did all kinds of stuff. Learned about team building. Went on ropes courses. I just did so much stuff. But it required courage. Because when I went to school the next day, because we used to have to wear a silly uniform to go to Scouts, people would mock me, ridicule me. It's one of the best things I ever did. But it required courage to follow my heart. And you need that courage too. So get curious. If you think life's boring, it's not. If you think there's nothing to do around here, it's because you're boring. You've got to get curious. And once you're curious, you've got to have the courage. And here's the thing, you don't need courage all day, every day. There's a great little movie, I got this script out, this bit of a line. I think it was called So We Bought a Zoo or something like that. And what they said in that little movie was, all you need is 20 seconds of courage. That's all you need. To get up out of your seat, to make a phone call, to search something on the internet, to go join a group, to get up on stage, to ask somebody out on a date. It's 20 seconds of courage. That's all you need. So I hope that this little video here is useful for you in some way. To add to that first one, when you're setting your goals, set them around your strengths and values, discover your strengths by observing what's going on around and what other people are doing, by testing yourself, go online, do some of those psychometric tests, the multiple intelligence test, the Myers-Briggs test, the Strengths Finder test. Most importantly, participate. Join in, and if you get curious and get courageous, then sooner or later you'll discover your strengths, and you'll realize there really are no limits to what you can achieve, and you too will become truly unstoppable. My friends are waiting for me. going to go out and have some fun. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you again soon.